So, Ben, let's talk about America's pastime, rugby. No, just kidding. So, the Dodgers beat Atlanta 4-3. It was an interesting game because Clayton Kershaw was pitching on 3 days rest. It was
everybody loves that call.
It was a move that was criticized for some because out of anything, if you want to have another closeout game, you would pitch Kershaw, I believe, in Atlanta, correct? Wouldn't that next game be at Turner Field?
Yeah, it should be in Atlanta, and Kershaw would be on 5 days rest because
instead of 3.
Instead, there's a day off in between. Ricky Nolasco was set to go Game 4. Ricky Nolasco is a competent Major League pitcher. Ricky Nolasco had a disastrous conclusion of the season, and I think that Mattingly panicked a little bit. The move, I heard much talk about it on talk radio, almost universally praised. The numbers since 2007 of starters going on 3 days rest, their ERAs are over 6.
Wow.
It doesn't work. Maybe Kershaw is an exception. The Dodgers had the advantage of being able to come back with Greinke on 4 days rest in Game 5, making it a more palatable move for me. But I think you overreact a little bit to the end of Nolasco's season, because Ricky Nolasco was great before that. Guys go into slumps. Like, you can't panic about 3 starts. That said, Kershaw pitched okay. He was not dominant. I suspect he would have been better.
Didn't give up an earned run, though. Yeah, he was not dominant. I think he had 6 strikeouts, but all the runs were unearned because of Ellis and Adrian Gonzalez with 2 errors in the 4th inning.
But again, it worked out. It worked out. It was okay. But I might have done it in the Kershaw situation because you can come back with Greinke on 4 days rest, on full rest. The issue, what's interesting, is that in 42 minutes, the Tigers are going to play the 2013 World Series champion Oakland A's. And
how much bias was put into that?
Doug Fister is pitching for the Tigers. They have an opportunity to throw Scherzer on 3 days rest. 21-3, 240 strikeouts, an ERA under 3. They're not going to do it, and they're in the exact same situation, even better than the Dodgers, because if they don't throw Scherzer on 3 days rest, and if they win the game, they still can come back with Verlander on 4 days rest in Game 5. So I'm a little surprised that they're not doing it, but apparently Jim Leyland, unless something has changed in the last hour and a half, is sticking with Fister, with Rick Porcello ready to come in out of the bullpen.
And who's pitching for the A's?
The A's have Dan Straily, the A's number 4 starter, who should be going. A.J. Griffin got some tendonitis, was left off the roster, so it's going to be Straily, who's effective. League hit 230 off him this year. He's good. I would rather have Griffin.
Go back to the Dodgers. Is that the best failed bunt attempt ever in baseball history?
What's left out of the conversation is, my new slogan, which I just thought of last night, which I sent to you.
You texted me. Yeah, what is that?
Don't bunt, don't punt.
But come on, you got to bunt in that situation.
No, you don't have to bunt in that situation.
Why not?
It is exactly the wrong move to bunt in that situation.
Why?
First of all, if the game's tied, maybe. But the fact of the matter is you have to score that run. You're down, right? Bunting has one possible successful outcome for you, which is that you get the runner to third and sacrifice an out. There is no real upside.
Because Puig got on with a double.
Right. Puig got on with a double. There is no upside of the run scoring when you bunt. That's not going to happen, right? Why on earth wouldn't you give, especially a relatively hot, competent hitter like Uribe,
2-time World Series champion Juan Uribe,
who hit, 270 with, I think, 13 home runs and had a heck of a second half.
And before that, he hit 199, so his contract.
But he's turned into a hitter.
Yeah, he has. So he's always been a
right.
Okay
he had
hitter.
A miserable year and a half for the Dodgers. But so, you give him an opportunity to drive in the run, or if you hit a ground ball up the middle to the right side, you're going to get the runner to third anyway. You hit a deep fly ball with Puig to center field or left field, deep enough, you're going to get Puig to third. You hit any fly ball basically to right field except really shallow, you're going to get Puig to third. Give him a chance to drive in the run.
I understand. I'm just under. I'm under the microscope of, it's better safe than sorry. You might as well bunt him over.
But
you want
Rick,
to get the
that's
run
just
in.
a saying.
Why?
The issue is, will it work? The fact is, if it doesn't work, as I saw of Josh Reddick of the A's and other players, if they pop up the bunt, you've given up an out with no effort to drive the run in. Get the runner to third base with less than 2 out is valuable, but it's not. You know what would be better?
What?
Scoring him. And you can get him there with an out. You can tell Uribe to try to go to the right side. You can let him take a couple of hacks to the right side. But having him bunt and nearly giving up a strikeout as a result, found himself down 2 strikes in the count because of the 2 failed bunts.
It was 0-2. He worked it to 2-2.
I hate the strategy. It didn't work. And then look what happened. Look what sometimes happens.
Yeah.
You win the game with a mammoth home run. So good for Uribe. good for the Dodgers, but I don't like the play. I don't like it at all. We know that if Joe Girardi had been managing that game for the Braves, the closest thing that Major League Baseball has to Mariano Rivera, Craig Kimbrell.
Yes, I agree.
He would have been in. I would have had him start the 8th inning. It's the postseason. You're down 2-1. You got a day off tomorrow anyway. So if he gets 6 outs, you can still be able to pitch him in Game 5. And we've seen every team do this in the postseason. He went 4 outs in Game 2. To not have him start the inning, I think, was a huge mistake. To not bring him in
at all
post-double from Puig seemed nuts. That guy
Agreed.
could have punched out the next 3 hitters, and then you're up 4-3 and you got Kimbrell in the
And
ninth.
you saw the frustrated, dumbfounding look on his face, hands on his hips as the home run went over the fence.
He looked like every girlfriend I've ever had at some point in their relationship with me.
Really?
Yeah, he talked to the bullpen
I feel bad
coach,
for them.
and he was like, I think he was dumbfounded that he wasn't in there.
Totally.
Carpenter's got good stuff, but I don't know how you don't have Kimbrell in there, and it cost him, and they'll be thinking about it and have it questioned all winter.